About a month after Iran shot down a U.S. military drone, President Trump says the USS Boxer warship destroyed an Iranian drone in the Strait of Hormuz.
The Boxer took defensive action against an Iranian drone, which had closed into a very, very near distance, approximately 1,000 yards, ignoring multiple calls to stand down, and was threatening the safety of the ship.
This also happened hours after Iran seized a tanker claiming it was smuggling oil out of Iran. Let's bring in James Carafano. He's the Vice President of National Security and Foreign Policy at the Heritage Foundation. James, these are mind games. How can Iran say, and why would Iran say, that we didn't take out their drone?
Well, absent other evidence, we ought to go with the simplest explanation. This is a tough neighborhood, a neighborhood where countries want to look tough. And so if the Iranians simply deny it happened, then they don't have to respond to it and look weak. So it's it looks just like a face-saving gesture on their part, but it also, I think, is another indicator that they're not really interested in escalating a direct confrontation with the United States. They're actually looking for ways to avoid that.
I hear you. They don't want to escalate tensions in that area, but how do you then explain all of their other provocations in this area in recent months?
Well, well, that's easy, I think. And I actually wrote a piece on this that's on Fox News. If Trump gets reelected and the Iranians have no choice but to negotiate with Trump, they have to have cards to play. So if they do provocative things now, like they increase the enrichment of their uranium, if they are antagonistic to freedom of traffic in the Gulf, then when they go back to the table, they actually have something to negotiate with.
Right.
That's a very classic Iranian position.
So they want something to trade, and they want these sanctions off. That's their whole point here, that the sanctions are hurting them, but the administration shows no signs of pulling any sanctions back. In fact, they're upping the sanctions, and we're also bringing and enhancing our military presence in Saudi Arabia. How does that change the situation, the military buildup?
I think it's a strategy that works both ways for the Iranians. If Trump loses, and we've already had several candidates on the left say, well, we'll just go back to the Iran deal, then they will get bribed to play nice, right? On the other hand, if Trump wins, they have something to negotiate with. And the Iranians actually hinted at this. They said, look, maybe we could just add some additional protocols to the Iran deal to address some of Trump's concerns, and we could all go back to playing nice again.
Why don't we do that?
Well, I think that's a potential possibility. That might be an off-ramp for the Iranians if they address some of the additional concerns that the U.S. has, include not just on the enrichment program, but also on ballistic missiles and some of their other behaviors. That's a potential pathway forward. Yeah,
and as we look at this conflict and the new escalations almost weekly at this point, the price of oil is moving higher, but not insanely higher as it would in years past because we have so much of our own oil. James Carafano, thank you very much.
Right.
Do you have a final point? Go ahead.
No, I think I think the markets are reacting to what they're seeing, which is the situation is actually far more stable than the media is portraying it.
James, thank you. Have a good weekend, sir.
Thank you. Yeah.